The Walking Dead has had its fair share of badasses, but none quite like Michonne. When Michonne entered the fold back in season 3, she was an immediate fan favorite, in part because of her survival instincts, her katana, and her willingness to do what others cannot, but mostly her katana. In this video, I'm going to go over Michonne's journey in the show and speculate about where she could possibly be during season 11, and all the reasons how she defied everyone's expectations during her time in the show. But first, if you're new around here, I'm the Thrifty Typewriter, and I make all kinds of videos on all things fantasy, sci-fi, and mystery, including The Walking Dead, so if those are things that interest you, consider hitting that subscribe button and look out for new videos every week. Join my Discord for some fun conversations, and let's get on with the video. First time we're introduced to Michonne, she's immediately got everyone intrigued because of the two walkers standing next to her. Is she some sort of walker wrangler? Is she part zombie herself? What is it? Nope. Turns out that Michonne is just an extremely capable survivor who's learned more about this world by being on her own. She takes care of Andrea, a character who was in 2 seasons at this point, and is still far less interesting than Michonne, who's been in 2 scenes. Michonne, at this point in the series, is probably the character who's been hardened by the world the most. She had a son, a boyfriend, a family, and all of that was taken away by the time she's even introduced to us. Comparing this to Rick and the group, they've been given chance after chance to survive and thrive in this world. They have each other, they've met strangers on a farm who became their family, and have been as lucky as you can possibly be in a world overrun by zombies. Michonne hasn't been as fortunate. She's been by herself, learning how this world really works the hard way, and seeing people for who they really are and what they've become. She keeps walkers next to her at all times, partly for protection against other walkers, but also as a reminder for who these people are, or were. Her boyfriend and his best friend. Keeping these 2 people around her is a constant reminder that Michonne only has herself. Sure, she takes care of Andrea, but as soon as she meets the governor, she ditches Michonne even after all the red flags that Michonne has seen. Forget about that person who literally nursed you back to health, Andrea, because the audience is clearly on Michonne's side. However, the governor is not an idiot. He recognizes that Michonne is also very smart and can see right through his lies and deception, leading her to go to the prison to ask the group for help. It's actually very funny to see the scenes where Michonne first meets the group, back to when she was an outsider and not part of the family. I don't really have a point with this, it's just funny to look back on and see how far she's come with the group. As much as everybody talks Rick versus the governor, the fight between Michonne and the governor was far more personal. She's the one who killed his zombie daughter, she's the one who stabbed him in the eye, and even when Rick talks to the governor, he wants Michonne, giving Rick an interesting dilemma. Michonne is still largely an outsider. Sure, she's helped on a few occasions, but she's not part of the family yet. But it's Rick's decision that leads to the war with the governor by keeping Michonne around. As things heat up with the governor, Michonne proves her loyalty to the group time and time again. And even with her tough exterior, hardened by everything that she's gone through, she starts thinking that maybe, if the time came and things settled down, she could open up to this group as her new family. But things aren't calm. The governor's reign is still in full effect. The moment Michonne truly won me over as a character, and it seems obvious, but I was in middle school when this episode premiered, so forgive me, but it's when she kills the governor. Michonne is then separated from the group once again, and her independent survival instincts kick in. Perhaps she was even thinking, well, that was a nice hope to have, to spend time with all these people, but I'm on my own again. That is, until she finds Rick and Carl. As time goes on, Michonne continues to prove to not only be a trusted warrior and close advisor to Rick, but something of a mother figure to Carl and Judith. Michonne was a mother, and by the time they reach Alexandria, she's accepted her role in this group as part of the family, especially her mothering nature towards Judith and Carl. But she hasn't been softened by her time with this group. Even though she's part of a family again, she still goes through everything that the group goes through. The governor, Terminus, everything that hardens the group just makes Michonne that much more capable and experienced, because her experience out in the world is already far superior to everyone except for maybe Abraham. But Michonne is still capable of making the tough decisions that no one else is willing to make. When Rick is overstepping his boundaries by pulling a gun in Alexandria, it's Michonne who knocks him out. Not because she doesn't trust what Rick is saying, but because she knows this isn't the time or place for that to happen, something no one else was willing to do. Though Michonne does help Rick eventually take over Alexandria and fight off the Walker Horde in season 6, it's at this time where things finally are calm and peace is achieved at Alexandria. It's at this moment where Rick and Michonne finally take a breath. they realize everything that's happened has been more than just because they're trusted allies. Michonne has become a mother to Carl and Judith. They went out on the road together, they moved into the same house together, and it all dawns on both of them, but only because things at Alexandria are finally calm. I remember watching this scene and thinking that it came out of nowhere, and I suppose that's the point. These characters both thought it came out of nowhere too, but it's because they've had so many other things to deal with that their romance was in the back of their mind, but it always was in the back of their mind. This is where Michonne defies all expectations. She becomes Rick's love interest, but she isn't resorted to just being the main character's love interest. Their dynamic changes a bit when it's just the two of them, sure, but as part of the group as a whole, Michonne stays true to who she really is, a hardened warrior who's been through a lot in this world, but her being with Rick doesn't add a whole lot to Rick's character. He's already proven that he's ready to move on from Lori. It adds to Michonne's character. She's, like I mentioned before, perhaps the person who's been hardened by the world the most in the show, but she's decided to let herself love again. She's decided that having a family in the world is worth it too. She's decided that she wants not only to just survive in this world, but to actually live in it too. This relationship furthers Michonne's character development while also keeping her role in the story more or less the same. She is still a capable warrior and a dependable person in the group as a whole, she just happens to also be Rick's love interest. So many characters in shows and movies are just resorted to being the main character's love interest, and that's just their role in the story. Michonne was her own person from the very moment she was introduced in the show, but she easily could have just been resorted to Rick's love interest the moment that she kissed him, but that's not who Michonne is. The writers prove that Michonne can move on in this world and learn to love again, while also retaining who she is as a character. Danai Gurira is phenomenal as Michonne and does a great job as the show's female lead once Rick leaves the show. But there comes a time when actors want to move on, and that's nothing new for this show especially, and Danai Gurira wanted to move on to other creative endeavors. I wish she stayed, but I can't blame her. But with her departure came a lot of questions and the option for her to return. While I think it's ridiculous that Michonne left Judith and RJ with the group and in Showtime has been gone for like a year or so, this has to mean that she's either with Rick or very close on the trail. We saw these pioneer-looking people, and we know that this isn't the CRM, so who are these group of travelers? Is Michonne still with them? If I'm taking a guess, I'll say that Michonne walked with these people for a little while until she stumbled across the CRM. We saw these people somewhere between Virginia and New Jersey, and it's very likely that Rick is in Philadelphia, which is very close to New Jersey. I would guess that Michonne and this group met the CRM, and there was some sort of hint of Rick, or Michonne had the inclination that Rick was with them, so she followed them. Perhaps she's infiltrated the base he's at, or she was even just taken by the CRM and she's imprisoned with Rick somewhere. Really, anyone's guess could be the best guess at this point. But if we're gonna get Rick back in this final season, then I would assume we would also get Michonne. If we don't get either of them, then there's going to be some sort of hint towards both of their whereabouts. I have to imagine that Michonne is either with Rick or very close to him, or else she probably would have returned to her children a long time ago. I really think it would be criminal to end the series with RJ and Judith not having one of their parents around when both of them are alive, but I guess we'll find out in 11C. What are your thoughts on Michonne? Let me know if I missed anything major, or if you want to add to the conversation, leave a comment down below, and if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more Walking Dead content. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.